you're hollering. You'll bring the beast down on us.
What is that thing?
Wendigo.
What the hell is a Wendigo?
According to the stories, it possesses people. Don't look at it in the eyes. If it can see your soul, it can take it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate way to describe her. Yeah, I mean that's something that I've always wanted to do. A lot of the films that I've been in, very often I don't make it to the end. I am not the final girl. So this was one where I was like, okay, we've made it, pretty far along. I'm still here. I'm the only woman, so by default that does help. But yeah, I mean it's reading the script, it was something where I think I got like 3/4 of the way through and was like, okay, this is looking like a strong, strong woman. So I was thrilled to be able to play the part. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that was super important for me. I think also from an audience perspective, we're in the woods the entire film for the most part. So there's not a ton of external sources that we can rely on to really like tell us about these characters, with the exception of some of these dream sequences and flashbacks almost of what Beth has gone through. And I love that you mentioned that it's not just two inexperienced teenagers in the woods. I mean, it's a couple that is outdoorsy that used to love to do this thing, used to love to go camping. Like they're not ill prepared in this circumstances, but they're very ill prepared for what's waiting for them in this case. A lot of the time it is really nothing. You have an understanding that it's going to be either CGI'd in, or it's going to be something where the audience isn't seeing it. We're only seeing from the perspective of Beth. She's missing a lot of what's going on here. She's hearing a sound here. She's maybe seeing a glimpse of something there. So a lot of the time, I am acting off of nothing, or sometimes a tennis ball. I think because it was so intimate with me working with the camera department, particularly like our Steadicam operator, a lot of the time it's he and I sort of dancing through the woods together, getting these shots where you're spinning around trying to figure out, where is this creature? What is this sound? What is happening? The Butcher Brothers, obviously, they know horror brilliantly. They know all of those like amazing gags and jump scares. And you mentioned some of the first aid gore. There's definitely a good amount of that in this one. Actually, for whatever reason, I've ended up working in horror quite a bit. I've been, working as an actor since I was a kid. And there's something about my face, and I haven't quite figured it out yet, that says just like, let's cover her in blood or let's drag her through the woods. I haven't quite figured out what it is about my face that says that, but once I do, I think I'll have my answer. You'll be very disappointed to know that I was in a film with a leprechaun in it, unfortunately. So I think every Irish person is so mad at me when they hear that, but it was a fun one.
Well, it was nice to meet you, Courtney. But
Sorry. There's like 4 redheads in the entire US in the acting world, and they just keep putting us in these things. Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, I will say we did rely, I relied especially on our stunt coordinator, DJ Rostenberg. So we were led by a female stunt coordinator. I'm doubled in plenty of the takes, but there's a lot of things that really do require it to be myself or to be Devon, really being like quite physical. There's an interesting note to Beth is that she's not at her physical peak. So she is someone who probably was very strong, and is sort of working her way back to that as best she can. So there's times where, I would really want to give it my all, and I had to pull back and remind myself that she's not not in her right state of being, both mentally and physically in this case. I didn't bring that up. I really was having a hard time not bringing up, and I think it's because of what age I am. I was trying not to bring up Now and Then and Casper, because as a kid, I was like, I had the biggest crush on him, which I think every girl that's my age can totally relate to. So I was doing my best to just keep that within and not let that show in the performance, because I think that would have been very out of left field for Beth. I mean, early on, I think Devon and I realized we were on the same page with taking this as far as we could go. And honestly, in some cases, a little bit further than the script had written, especially in terms of physicality. It was something where we had a real trust with each other of, you know, how much further can we push this? Are you comfortable? I'm comfortable. Let's go. Let's just chase this scene as far as it can go. In a lot of scenes, I feel like the two of us are almost like two caged animals. We're sort of circling each other a little bit, trying to like suss out the other person. So working with Devon, that's like, you know, they say like, don't meet your heroes or your childhood crushes, I guess. And it was like something where he was just such a giving actor and so talented. You see that he can do, I mean, he really will take it as far as it can go. And it shows in the performance because he's just brilliant.
Inputs.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually really glad you brought this up. There was something with the I won't give it away, but there's something with an injury, and there's, you know, some first aid moments, and I was remembering all of like the first aid courses they make you go through as a Girl Scout. So I was remembering, you know, for a compound fracture, do this, and it's, you know, I'd seen like fake versions of this when I was a kid where they let you like practice on someone with like, you know, ketchup on their leg. And this was a very, you know, almost practical application of some of that knowledge. I think the most amazing thing about this film, and hopefully it's something that you'll agree with, is that it's not just one of those films where you know, you're shown a creature from page one and it's just, you know, two people in the woods trying to solve that. I think there's a really amazing dynamic happening between all of our characters in this. It's a limited cast, obviously, but there's a real sense of growing horror throughout the film that you really start to realize that you maybe had this wrong from the beginning. There's some amazing twists there. And it's a really great like testament to two people in the woods trying to suss it out. Thank you so much, Glenn. I really appreciate it.